sugar daddy does not necessarily mean intimacy and
Mama,
at
but it
all.
still
It
has
doesn't
the same.
necessarily mean
Yes, it
that.
does. It still has the same connotation to it, though. You cannot go
Like,
to
my
a.
whole thing is, if you're going to say someone has a sugar daddy, if you're going to say they do sex work, let's bring some evidence. I'm not really a huge fan of rumors.
To clarify,
You don't need to correct me. I know exactly
I
what
don't need
you're
to.
saying, so I don't need to
No,
correct it.
I was correcting the confusion. If there was confusion,
There was like,
because okay,
I
but
have good
things are
comprehensive
getting
skills over
ugly.
here.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
you do.
I do. Thank
You
you.
do.
Hey, it's a brotherhood. Woohoo!
Hey everyone, it's your bro, Mitch Kimbro. I'm here with the bros. So, bros, it looks like Caroline Brooks and Taleen Marie's friendship is beyond repair. After an intense exchange between Caroline Brooks and Taleen Marie, Taleen's husband got involved. Take a look at this.
My husband was actually trying to de-escalate it.
Taleen, stop drinking.
Stop drinking.
You're slurring.
Drinking?
That's cute.
Come on.
Yeah. What do you want to do? You want to do this?
That's my wife. You're not going to throw my wife under the bus.
Yeah.
Come on
So
now.
don't speak on women's
I
business.
don't give a damn about these cameras, man. Let me tell you one
Don't
thing.
speak on
Yeah,
women's
but
business.
what you
Shut your mouth.
Oh, but what you not?
Oh, well, what you not?
You better watch your mouth.
Eric, it got so heated that Lisa Milan had to step in. And Lisa Milan told Taleen's husband, like, no, you're not gonna talk to a girl like that, is what Lisa says. Like, what do you think of this whole thing?
One thing I don't like from a franchise is too much husband involvement, unless it's funny
Yeah.
little commentaries in their kitchen. If they're in their kitchen and the wife's telling them what happened the night before and he's throwing little jabs, hilarious, love it. But it's the yes. I need that energy. What I don't want is another Joey Gorga. I could understand him popping off the first few seconds just because she approached them. They were by themselves and she approached them, but he should have just walked away. He should have done what Caroline Stanbury husband does and just walks away. You need to take that note. When they start fighting, unless she's about to swing, you need to walk away. He's a light-skinned male yelling at a dark-skinned woman. That's not cool, period, at all. I don't care what your excuse is, in my opinion.
I think that it was in his nature to defend his wife. It's so unfortunate because it was in his nature to defend his wife, but at the same time, I don't think that Taleen needed any help or any assistance because at the same time, they have a closer relationship.
But just to clarify, Tamar, for a second, do you think the husband was wrong for stepping in? Or do you think he was in with his bounds to step in and defend
Like I
his wife?
said, I think that it was in his nature to do it, but still at the same time, I think it was wrong for him to step in because they have such a closer relationship, being friends, to where they could have spoke about it themselves. They could have handled it because Taleen didn't need any help whatsoever. I didn't see any hesitation, any type of backing up in the corner, anything like that. So I was there for it. I was there to watch it. And I was actually upset that he stepped in because I wanted to see her response for a lot of other things.
While I do think it was wrong for Taleen's husband to kind of step in, and I don't think it should be in his nature to defend his wife against another woman. Maybe it was against another man, I would kind of understand it, but I don't think he should have got involved in this particular situation. And I don't think there was anything productive that was going to come out of him getting involved. When it's a man with a woman, it can always get messy when he's raising his voice and getting in that heated situation. And I think it's best to stay out of it. And on a general, I don't like seeing kind of 2-versus-1 situations. And Taleen can handle her own. Brooks can handle their own. I think they should have just been left to handle that themselves.
Damien, do you think that Taleen's husband was within his right to have his wife's back?
I think if his wife needed his help, as we've been saying, yeah, he would be in his right. Because this is the thing with Housewives. Sometimes I feel
but with
like
another
they want the
woman.
husbands.
What? Hold on,
Hold on
Victor.
just a second, babe. So when they're bringing the husbands in, it's almost like they know what they're doing. Because who's going to sit back and see something happen to their wife, husband, vice versa, whatever, and not have some sort of emotional reaction? Now, granted, I don't think any man should be talking to a woman sideways unless, they come to them first. Now, as Eric said, the guy or she came up to them, but then it was obvious that Taleen could handle it on her own after that. So that's the only issue. Now, if his wife needed help, obviously go in, help her out, do what you got to do. But I think it's tricky with the husbands and bringing them in, and I think we need to start just leaving them at home. Like Eric said, for house scenes, when we take the
Yeah.
kids to the park, they don't have to go to all the all cast events.
Events. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
them at
I think this
events.
is
I
the.
think that that's
I think.
good. I love them at events. I
Not
love
all
seeing
of
that their
them. Not
commentary.
all of them.
I love
And
seeing.
not all the
I
time.
just love seeing.
Yeah.
I love seeing Stanberry's husband always following her around. Hey, baby, are you good? Baby, what's happening? Baby, look
Oh
at
my
this.
God.
What's happening over there? Oh, do you need a refill? I think that is so cute, and I just love the interaction with the men. I just don't like it when they get into like the spats and everything like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm with
I
Tamar
think
on that.
this. I think this recording is one of the first times that we're all on the same page. I take Taleen's husband getting involved in this exchange very seriously because Caroline Brooks has been very open and very transparent that she has experienced an abusive relationship in her past. And to have a man get loud,
Yeah.
get close,
That's true.
get in up in her in a
Preach,
back and
girl.
forth, extremely uncomfortable, and it's
And
not right.
triggering.
It's not fair. And the worst part about it is Taleen knows this. They've been friends for
Yeah.
over 10
And
years.
her
And
husband probably
Taleen
knows
knows
as
that her
well.
friend, Taleen knows that her friend Brooks has experienced abuse. And it shocks me that Taleen watched her husband interact with her friend or former friend like that.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I can see because she approached them. I can see having like one comment or having just like a moment. But at that point, you have to check your privilege and check who you are, and you have to step away because, like everybody says, Taleen was ready to pop off. She would have been good. My girl would have taken it. My girl would have been fine. She didn't need her man there. Her man should have gotten her a drink. You know what I'm saying? Her man should have been like, after you yell at her, I got you. I got you a vodka soda. You know what I'm saying? Carcass out. But he chose to interact. And I think you made a really great point. When you know someone's background, there are certain things that can be super triggering and can truly put someone in a bad space. And that's what happened. I will give Taleen the credit. Her smoking that cigarette at the end, it lives rent free in my head. She said,
yeah.
She was just sitting there like a 90s girl ready to go. I loved it. But I just think that the men yelling is too much. It's too much.
Yeah. If it were two men, it'd be the same thing. A woman stepping in a two men situation, same thing.
The woman needs to step back. Let them go.
But I think to go back, Damien, to what you said, I think if Taleen couldn't handle herself and she had an issue, then she shouldn't be on the show. I think people should be there to represent themselves. I don't think a man should have had to step in if she wasn't able to handle that confrontation with the women, especially when you don't know what women have been through, that women might be intimidated by men. So I just don't ever think that there's a situation that
What
man
about
needs
a
to
Jen
step
Aiden and a
with another
Danielle?
woman.
What about that situation, like where they get violent? You don't think? Because I'm sorry, I see
Yeah,
you
I
swinging
think
on
to
my man. Let's
separate
go. I'm going to
people,
step in the middle.
to
No.
separate people in violence, but I think in a verbal
Yeah.
argument where there's no physicality, I don't see a man needing to get involved, especially as it can really intimidate women who are victims to lots of stuff like domestic abuse, etc. So I just don't think it's ever right. I think it's a bit intimidating. So I don't see that as something that should happen on any of these shows, unless it's to separate, physically breaking two people up. Like you're saying, Damien.
Fair enough.
But listen, this is Caroline Brooks's friend. Taleen is Caroline Brooks's friend. And I do feel bad for Caroline Brooks because she's introducing us to Taleen. And I think that in Brooks's mind, I have on the show now a ride or die friend. This
She
girl's
had
gonna be my
one
ride or
though.
die. She's gonna be my
She had
friend.
one.
And Taleen abandoned her and left Brooks for Stanberry. And it's the ultimate betrayal because Brooks is incredibly loyal.
But I'm
I don't
surprised
see
you
it
have
that
that
way.
opinion of it.
Huh?
I'm a little surprised that you have that opinion, Mitch.
Why?
I think when it's come to me on Bro Chat, I've come into this as your best friend, as your ride or die, and that's the situation. I think when it comes to certain situations with me and other people on this platform, and your
Name
response,
names.
I think
Who? Who?
with
Say
Izzy,
names.
let's with
Okay.
Izzy, yeah. I think when it come to Izzy, there's been more than one situation where you've come into it, me knowing me the longest, being friends with me the longest, and advocating for him over me when I don't think he needed that advocation.
I think what Izzy is saying is, how
Well,
can you?
no. I don't need a translator for what Izzy is saying. I need to hear it from Izzy, Mitch. Um, Izzy, didn't you have notes for this?
Okay, come on.
No,
Listen.
no. At the start
Listen,
of the
listen, listen,
conversation,
listen. I
well,
will
you're
say,
aware.
I think you can be intimidating.
I
I
don't
think you
think
can be.
so. And
I
if you're
think
my
that,
friend, if
I
anyone,
think
you
the
should
way you,
represent me or you should stay out of it. I don't think you should
the
go on someone
reason,
else's side
okay,
against me, especially if you expect Taleen to be loyal to Brooks. I would expect you to demonstrate that same behavior with this friend right here.
if I like someone, I will
Hmm.
be there for them. And I like Izzy. Has a day off today. Izzy has
So
a
you
day
don't
off
like
today. He
me?
will be back with us. Izzy will be back with us, but he has a day off
He's
today.
rude.
But if I like someone, I'm going to be there for them. And if I feel like they're not being treated fairly, which there have been over and over and over again, I've witnessed you treat Izzy unfairly, I'm going to speak up. I'm not going to be silent. And I don't want
I
anyone
don't
to
think I've treated
monitor
him
my
unfairly.
behavior.
I
I
don't
don't want
think
anyone to
I've treated him
monitor my
unfairly.
behavior. I don't want anyone to monitor my behavior. If I get involved in unfair treatment, I will. I will stand up for anyone that
I
is
don't
being
agree.
treated unfairly and that is being intimidated. And I don't think it's
I
right.
don't
And
agree.
listen, I think that on a platform like Bro Chat, I'm proud of Izzy. He has really risen and shown a lot of strength over the years, despite his interactions with you. And
Yes, he's such
I
a good
respect
guy,
your opinion on it.
really. A
So
director
I
of
get
I
that
respect
communications.
your
he's being
opinion.
treated unfairly. He's being treated unfairly. What did Vic do exactly that you felt like Izzy was being treated unfairly about?
So
Yeah.
listen, I think that there are times I wish Izzy was here because I don't like talking about people. I
That's
like
what
talking to
he said.
people,
He
and
would
I
take the
want
few
people
days off.
here.
He
I
said it was
don't,
okay.
Izzy, if you're watching this, I don't want to spend too much time because I really want him here for hearing what I have to
He
say.
talks about me when I'm not
On the,
around.
so there are times when we're on Bro Chat. There are times when we are on Bro Chat. Izzy sort of loses himself with where he wants to go with his points, or
I
maybe
mean,
he
Garcelle
doesn't.
said she was triggered and she didn't even understand why she was triggered. So
You're saying Garcelle did not know why she was triggered?
I did not say that. I said Garcelle said it herself. She was triggered and she couldn't even explain why she was triggered. That's what she said.
Or maybe he might kind of drift into
So how's
Neverland
that
and we
my
don't see
fault?
him for the rest of the recording.
Not
And
Neverland.
I think that when we see a bro slipping, we shouldn't take the rug from underneath them and see them slip and fall. I don't think it's right. And I think that you've done it over and
What?
over and over again to him.
Who's taking the
I
rap?
think you've had examples of being unfair to him when you've observed his weaknesses and have taken advantage of them in a bro chat debate,
What?
in a
No,
bro
I
chat
have
setting.
not.
And that's my opinion. Tamar asked me what I thought,
I did.
and that's just how I feel.
I
And I'm not
did.
changing
He
my
did.
feeling on it. And that's just listen, I care about you. I care about everyone here, Izzy included. And I don't want you to question it, Victor, because I do, you know it.
I can have my opinion,
But okay,
but I just think
you can have your
my
opinion.
opinion is I just think it's a big contradiction that you think Taleen it should be loyal to Brooks and it's their ride or die, and you think it's this big betrayal. But you've never advocated for me, but you've advocated for Izzy. This is someone who we're talking about, and I love Izzy. He's a director of communications, and he's on a debate panel. And if he's saying different things that contradict each other, that's not my fault that I'm trying to clarify and understand what he's meant to say. Am I just meant to sit here when I hear different opinions come out of his mouth and not try and understand what he says? I need to understand what he says so I can debate him. We're not debating each other at different intensities for different levels. We're debating each other in the same way. I question him in the same way I question Damien. I question Eric. I question Tamar. I question you. So just because he's not as good as explaining his opinion as someone who's a director of communications doesn't mean you need to step in. That's you to let him boss up and handle that confrontation and handle his perspective being challenged, because we are in a debate. We're doing a debate. This is a debate panel. So we should be challenged in our perspective. When someone isn't able to show their perspective and voice their point of view, then they need to let that happen and come back better. It shouldn't be, well, I need to come in and swoop in and stick for you. This is an individual panel where we're individual panelists with individual perspectives. There's no joint perspectives. And in those situations, I don't like being characterized like I'm someone who's treating someone unfairly and taking advantage of them. What I'm doing is challenging people's perspectives. And if that's not clear, then it's not for me to be like, well, take your time, explain what you mean. I'm hearing what I see and I'm giving a different argument. That's what I'm here to do. So I don't think for me doing my job and my role for that, that's me treating it unfairly. And as a friend, I expect you to be loyal to me because you have known me, almost 4 years now, and you have not known him as long. And you have met me in person, so that's where your loyalty should be. And I don't think I've treated him unfairly. And for you to say that I'm treating people unfairly, I don't agree with either. And I don't like that characterization. As a friend, I don't like that. Especially as someone who said they don't like their integrity being questioned. Saying I treat people on this panel unfairly, I don't like that. So I don't want to hear that.
Well, what you're doing right now is very unfair.
I don't think
Because,
I'm doing anything
yeah, I think what you're
unfair.
doing right now is very unfair because you should share your perspective about Izzy to Izzy, not to me.
I have.
That's the difference, and
I've
that is
told the
the
same
point.
situation.
If you have an
But no,
issue
it's a
that is,
contradiction. If you're going to
if you have an
contradict,
issue, if
if
you
you're going
have
to
an issue
contradict,
that's meant for Izzy, you should be telling Izzy,
but it's not
not
an issue with
me. It's
Izzy.
not.
It's an issue with
It's
you.
actually the issue that you have with Izzy. It's actually none of my business, and I
It's an
don't want to
issue
be
with
involved.
you.
And what you're
It's the issue
no,
with you.
it's an issue you have with Izzy, and you're talking to me about it. Share your perspective
No,
about Izzy to Izzy, not to me. And don't give me a hard time about it.
I'm not giving you a hard time. It's a
That's all I'm
contradiction.
gonna say
It's a
about it. But listen,
contradiction.
you are my
It's a
listen, okay?
contradiction. Okay.
Okay.
It's a
You are my
contradiction.
friend. You're my friend, and I care about you. And I want us to talk after this, okay?
I think you
I
got it
do.
completely
I think we
right.
should. I think we should.
You
I think we
said,
should. I
I
think we should.
think,
Let's talk about let's finish it after this. Let's really delve deep
okay.
into it
But let me
after
just
this
say
when
my
this is
last
over.
thing.
And we'll really talk about it. Yeah, say your last thing, and
Let
then
me
we
just
are
say
gonna
this
move on,
last thing.
okay? Yeah, go.
Great.
Quickly.
Fantastic. I think you got it completely right. I think my issues with Izzy are none of your business. And I think you involving
Yes.
yourself in those issues. I don't think I have issues. I think I had issues with the way I didn't think it was clear how he explained his perspective. And I think if I'm going back and forth with someone on this panel about their back perspective, I don't think it's right to characterize me as being unfair to them. And I don't think it was right for you to be involved. And if you think friends should be loyal, then I would expect that loyalty in these conversations. And we can continue that after this recording.
Well, just to make a correction, the monologue that you just gave about Izzy is none of my business. That you just gave just
Sorry?
earlier, that monologue is none of my business, and that's what I meant.
It's
But
not your business to get involved when
no,
I'm
I'm just
debating
saying.
someone on a
I just
debate
want to make the
panel.
correction. I just want to make the correction about it. But listen, it's
I
getting
speak very clearly. You don't
ugly.
need to correct
Oh,
me.
oh, I don't need a what?
You don't need to correct
I
me.
don't
I
need
know
a,
exactly what I'm saying. So
no,
I don't
I
need
was
to correct it.
correcting. No, I was correcting the confusion. If there was confusion,
There was
because
like,
I was just saying, I thought I okay, but
I
things
have
are
good
getting
comprehensive
ugly.
skills over here.
Oh, you do.
Uh-huh.
You
I
do.
do. Thank you.
Listen, okay,
That's why I'm on
things
this
are getting
panel.
ugly.
I don't say
Oh,
50 different opinions. I say one, and I don't need backup.
all right, so listen, things are getting ugly. Things are getting ugly because on Watch What Happens Live, Taleen made an accusation that Caroline Brooks is having sex with men for money.
Who do you think has more money in her bank account?
Well, Brooks sleeps with a lot of men who have money, so I don't know.
I don't agree with the slut shaming. I'm not about that. I think that's disgusting. Sex work is not something that we should be criminalizing or like talking bad or down upon. First of all, it's the oldest profession. And secondly, girl, bye. Like, that's so 2005. Like, I can't do it. But I do think that as a best friend, that is something you shouldn't do.
Right. Tamar, do you think that their friendship is over forever? Or do you think that Taleen and Brooks, there's a possibility the two of them can come back from this? Because Taleen is open.
I don't know where to start. I'm still on the sex working portion. I need to know why is she doing that? I don't think she's doing that. Oh my gosh, Brooks. I don't think that she's sitting there just laying down and funding Glass House. I just don't think that that's happening. That's no way possible that she could be doing that. And shame on Taleen. And I want to go back on that to their friendship, allegedly, their friendship. I just want to say that I do think that, like I said, Brooks, she thought that she had someone to be friends with and to help her out, to help it and get these housewives knocked out. Let's tag team them. And Taleen just wasn't with it. She didn't want to do that. Like I said, she was there for a good time. And she didn't want to get into the mix of everything. And I think that Brooks kind of flipped on her when it just didn't go her way.
But why does she need someone to come in and take out Housewives when she was with Caroline all last season? No joke.
For sure. Like we said, for sure. Like, at the same time, we know Dubai is fresh and they're starting. And I think that even if they had the falling out, I don't think that it should have went farther than saying, hey, you're laying down, putting miles on your twat to fund your life. I think that she should have been able to talk to her friend if there was any issues that they needed to resolve. But at the same time, now it's fair game. I don't think that they were real friends before the show. I don't think that they're real friends on the show. And I don't think that they would be real friends after the show.
My whole thing is, if you're going to say someone has a sugar daddy, if you're going to say they do sex work, let's bring some receipts. Let's bring some evidence. I'm not really a huge fan of rumors. Like, I want to see, like, I don't want it to be like Kenya, where you're putting a whole big poster out of someone naked. But I think there should be some type of site to source of saying this is true. I think when I hear a lot of baseless stuff of, well, you do this, that's just a rumor. And I don't think that really moves me. When you put, friendships on camera, you find out where the loyalties are and where people, who they feel closer to and how long they're going to actually ride or die for those people. So I think it's all very interesting.
Damien, what do you think?
So two things here. I think for one, when you in Dubai, there's a stereotype around women that have money, and it's that they have been sleeping around for it. You're a prostitute, you're an escort, whatever you want to call it. So I don't really think it's fair. And I think even one of the girls said that, like, when you work hard in Dubai, you have people automatically assume you had to lay on your back for it. So, when it comes to that, I don't really agree with it.
I think Brooke
saying
said
that about one another.
I think Brooke said that,
yeah,
actually,
with the salon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was with her salon opening this year, but
I think
yeah,
Brooke said that, which is weird. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Then my second point, I forgot. I don't even remember what I was going to say with the second point.
Sorry.
But I don't think there's any coming back with Taleen and other girls' friendship. In 10 years, really? Y'all gonna try to sell us that lie when, like, come on now. There's nothing real about that.
What Taleen said on Watch What Happens Live about Brooks sleeping with men to make her money, it's incredibly damaging because Brooks is a single mother. She's a single mother working extremely hard with her business, and a rumor like that could have a negative impact. And
that was Caroline.
It's being said on national television, so it's there forever. And I don't think.
And she said that about Stanberry. She called Stanberry sugar daddy, which is essentially the same thing.
The sugar baby.
Well, I don't think that Brooks. I don't think that Brooks should ever go back to that relationship. If Taleen is willing to go that low.
But Brooks is willing to go that low too. With Stanbury, she
Yeah.
put
If
her
you can
sugar.
throw
Well,
it, you can
listen,
catch it.
two wrongs don't
Exactly.
make it right.
She
But listen,
started it.
I'm speaking
Sometimes.
But
to
she said
I'm
it.
but listen to clarify, Brooks is talking about what she was told, and to make it even
And I'm
clearer, she was.
Taleen probably was told
But
semantics
listen, to
like
make it
that,
clear,
mama.
Taleen was probably told something
to make it
too.
clear, to
I
make it
doubt that she
clear,
made it up.
saying what she was told from Stanberry's friend.
And where
Let's
do
say
you
my
think
friend who
Taleen
said
heard it? Where
Yeah,
do you
where do you
think
think
who
she
Taleen
heard
heard
said to
it?
it?
be that sugar daddy.
Where do you
So
think
listen,
Taleen heard it?
this is a
They
man
both
that
repeated
is
a
saying that
rumor
he's
that they
fun.
heard. It's the same.
This is a
Yes.
man that this is a man that's saying that he's paying for this, he's paying for that. And Caroline Brooks just cleared the record, and Ayan said it as well. So they're just repeating what was said, and I don't think it's as bad. I do not
I
think it's
do
as
think
bad
it is as
as what
bad.
Taleen said. No,
Oh, mama, no, it was the same
no,
comment. So what is a
sugar
sugar daddy,
daddy.
mama? So what does she have to do to get that money? What does she have
Yeah,
to do with that man to
I
get that
think it's the
money?
same, Mitch. I think
Girl,
it's kind
that's
of the
the same
same.
thing, mama.
I
You
don't
are.
think it's the same. Just
Oh,
because
girl,
Not the
I
just
South
because
Park
you
can't.
have a
commercial.
sugar daddy, it doesn't mean just because you have a sugar daddy does not mean you're spreading it low and laying it wide.
Where does the
It
sugar come
doesn't.
from then?
The
Huh?
sugar comes from
Just the
I don't
kids? Just
know,
At
a
the end,
Damien.
no. At the end of the day, both said trying to say that a woman is doing something for a man for money, whether it's sleeping with them, whether it's
Exactly.
providing them
Which
company.
is
You are saying that
misogynistic and
it's for
perpetuates a lot of
money,
rumors in
which
the
is
vibe.
misogynistic. Exactly.
Yeah,
They're both wrong for that. They're wrong for that. You can't say that one is more wrong than the other because that is the same implication. And she has 3 kids, so you can't say
Sugar
the kid
daddy
thing
does
either.
sugar daddy does not necessarily mean intimacy and
Mama,
at
but it
all. It
still has
doesn't
the same.
necessarily mean
Yes, it
that.
does. It still has the same connotation to it, though. You cannot go to
No.
Okay.
I think
I'm
it
yeah.
has the
sorry. If
same
you tell me,
connotation, Mitch.
yes, of course it
But
does.
with the sugar daddy comment, when you think about it, sugar. But there are some men, there are some men who are older and they're not really, they can't have sex. They just want that companion, and they pay these women. However, the connotation still looks like you're sleeping with them.
What was she trying to
Yeah.
do with that then? If she wasn't trying to insinuate the same thing, what was her point of saying that about Stanberry?
Exactly.
Listen, let me break this down.
Okay, break
My
it down,
last
mama.
birthday, my last birthday, Victor's my best friend. We've been best friends for almost 4 years. Victor gave me the best gift
I don't know if we're
ever.
going back.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
But listen, Victor gave me the best gift ever. I would consider Victor in that moment my sugar daddy. I think
No! Get
No,
what?
out! Get out! Get
But
out!
Victor,
Get
What?
out!
Victor,
I was
hold
trying
Get
to help
out!
you, Mitch, but
Get
Oh
no.
out!
my
That
god.
is a friend buying you a gift, not your sugar
that is a
daddy. I'm so
Oh
friend.
my
sorry to let
god.
you know, mama. That is not a sugar daddy. Girl, I'm gonna have to
Sugar
give you.
daddy?
What is that? Urban Dictionary, mama. Look that up. I'm gonna have you look up
Am I a
Urban.
sugar
So you
daddy
mean to
now?
tell me that the point of Brooks bringing that up the point of Brooks bringing that up was to say that someone was friending her and just giving her gifts for no reason. Intent, mama, intent.
Right.
Intent. It was the same exact intent. I'm not saying one's worse than the other, but they are very much the same thing.
Yeah.
I
Don't
cannot
make
believe you just called Victor a sugar daddy. I'm done. I'm done, everyone. Clock it out. I'm clocking out. Oh, yeah, was there some sugar given? Do we not know
sugar
half the story?
involved?
There was no
I'm
sugar
only
about 20 minutes
22.
ago.
You do it,
Urban
please.
Dictionary. What is the definition of sugar daddy?
A
Come on,
rich older man
Damien.
who lavishes gifts. Okay.
Tamal, I need to do more of your skincare because
Oh,
apparently I look old.
Wait a minute. I think you both could be right here, though, if you look at the definition.
Okay,
Okay.
Damien.
A rich older man who lavishes gifts on a young woman in return for her company or sexual favors.
Or
I said that earlier, though. I literally said whether she's exchanging company or sex. It's not the point. You just try to say your best friend gave you a gift and he's your sugar daddy, mama. That was the point that you just made on this panel. That is the point that you made on this panel. That sugar daddy, he looks 7 years old. He looks like he hasn't even got pubic hair yet. And you're over here calling him a sugar daddy, mama.
Eric, that is not nice. Eric,
I called you young, and that's not nice.
I'm done.
I wasn't trying to read you. I was calling you young. I'm calling you old, mama. We can switch this up. In comparison to a sugar daddy. You took it out of context.
Oh my god!
I wasn't trying to be shady. First of all, I was backing you up, but that's okay. I was backing you up.
Well, listen, everyone looking in, let us know, what do you think is worse? Taleen's accusation or what Brooks repeated?